Isn't it amazing that your wife can go from fully checked out and pursuing divorce to pursuing you and wanting to be intimate again? Well, this man would say so.
We're doing great. We are, I think, in a spot where it's like we tell each other we love each other. We're in that frame where we're intimate, multiple times in the past 4 weeks. Things are awesome.
In this video, I'll share the 3 principles that Josh used to turn his marriage around. By the way, Josh is an amazing name. Together, they unlock how to avoid a trap most men fall into and turn it into a momentum that softens her heart. Secondly, the change that she's been waiting for that makes her feel safe enough to open up again. And finally, a path that not only earns respect, but also reignites that spark of attraction in her eyes for you. By the way, the second one is like striking gold when you apply it the right way. You can witness her change right before your eyes.
And each time I started doing that, I could actually see her changing.
So let's jump in. So before Josh's marriage went south, he knew his wife was really unhappy, but he wasn't prepared for the truth bomb that she dropped on him.
When this first started back in June with my wife, we had a talk, and I was coming from a logical standpoint, and she just basically said, I knew she was unhappy. I thought it was a lot of work related stuff, right? And she's got a stressful job and stuff like that. During that conversation, she was like, no, you're the problem. I'm not happy with you. I haven't been for years. She's like, I feel like our marriage is a transactional marriage at this point. And, I'm no longer emotionally attracted to you.
Like most men hit with that kind of wake-up call, she's ready to walk away, and you're the reason why. He scrambled to fix it as best as he could, but those early efforts only add pressure on her and pushed her even further away.
So I started seeing a therapist, kind of working through some past traumas and stuff like that. She was kind of pushing me to get a decision, like an ultimate decision for my wife. And it seemed like every time I pushed my wife during this, after that initial conversation, things went bad. And it was I just need to do something different. I hit rock bottom.
See, Josh was split. One part trying to hold it all together and the other screaming for a way out. Maybe you know the feeling.
Partly, I would say desperation, right? In the sense of, just trying to figure things out. The stuff that I was doing wasn't necessarily working, or I wasn't getting the results that I was hoping for.
He was desperate to stop the bleeding, but he was also something else.
I did some research and, be honest, was skeptical at first, but at the same time, I was like, what do I have to lose? I want to save my marriage, but if that doesn't work out, I do want to better myself.
You see, Josh was skeptical at first. Of course he was. And I imagine a smart man like yourself would be too. And that's a good thing. But he took the step anyways. And right away, he tapped into something huge. Did you catch it in the last clip? If not, no worries. Let me break it down with this first principle. It's something a lot of guys don't see, and they fall into the trap that sets them back. But knowing this gives you strong momentum in the early stages of softening your wife's heart. Here it is in Josh's words.
When I did make the decision to join the program, our accounts were still connected, everything like that. So she had visibility into the financial stuff and everything. And it was really important for me. I had to go to my brother and ask him to borrow money, right, for the first initial payment for it. And I opened up a separate credit card, just under my name. I didn't want my wife to know anything about it. And for me, it was really important because I was doing it for myself.
You see, Josh made the decision to change for himself, not to win her back, not to impress her, and not to prove anything. He didn't even want her to know about the program. I call this idea, this concept, autonomous alignment. What it means for you is acting with quiet integrity, choosing growth because it's who you want to be, not because you're trying to trigger a reaction in her, okay? There's no needy undercurrent behind your actions. You're not trying to get credit for what you're doing. And so many men sabotage themselves right at the start because of the wrong mindset like this.
One of the biggest mistakes a lot of guys will make is to go like, oh, look what I did. Look what I'm doing for us.
Yeah. I didn't want her to think I was doing it for her, to be honest. Like selfishly, like it was probably the first thing I've done for myself in years. So it was just really important for me to do that.
You see, Josh didn't really hide what he was doing, but he also didn't feel like he had to perform or prove anything to her. He wasn't secretive, he was sovereign. That distinction makes all the difference.
She checked the mail and she was like, oh, did you get a credit card? And I was like, yep. And I just walked away, like didn't explain myself. Wasn't rude about it or anything like that. But usually I would kind of probably explain myself and stuff and tell her why. Like, and right there, I didn't.
In acting with integrity, Josh wasn't hiding anything. He just knew timing mattered. He wanted to be open when it was right.
Part of my values is, integrity. And at the time, her dad just passed away in early December, health complications and stuff like that. And that's when she asked me about it. And because of that, I didn't tell her then. And after a couple of weeks, I decided I was going to tell her just because I wanted to be honest with her and stuff. So, and she seemed happy with it. She was glad. She was like, why didn't you just take it out of our checking account? I was like, because I was doing this for myself.
Josh was no doubt making progress, and his wife was already softening. But there was something else at play, arguably the biggest factor of all. The next shift is what allows your wife to soften and open up, often right before your eyes in real time. And the chances are is that she's been waiting for it, even if she'd never say it out loud. Josh sums it up clearly.
One of the big things I've done is like, I just decided I was going to date her again. So like I set up dates for us now. And it's not really asking her if she wants to or this, like I just set it up. Like I was like, this is what I want to do. And if she says no, that's fine, right? But I don't take it personally or anything like that.
He adapted a decisive framework. He did this by taking the lead in practical ways day by day. And if she wasn't into it, he didn't flinch. No big deal, right? In Josh's case, they were already in a better place. They were still under the same roof, sleeping in separate beds. They were interactions day by day, but it was still fragile. By leading and making decisions, he cultivated and created motion without pressure, without neediness, and without waiting for her permission. And he could literally see her change before his eyes. He influenced her energy.
I was telling her what I wanted. Like I wasn't asking. And that just kind of built that also, where it was like, every time I did that, and when I made that mindset of like, I'm gonna try to date her with no expectations. Like I changed my tone around her, acted like, when we wake up, like, because we were in separate beds and stuff, first time I saw her in the morning, like, how would I act if we were just dating? Like, I'd be happy to see her in the morning, right? My tone would be, a certain way. And I just started doing that. And each time I started doing that, like, I could actually see her changing. And I really worked really hard on like just my own energy. And, it took a long time to do it, and had to practice it multiple times a day, like through breathing and stuff. But it was like, I wanted to make sure I was really calm around her and slowed down. And I could see her slowing down. Yeah. So it was literally like she was even picking up on my energy, which was crazy, like that she could sense that.
There's so much gold to unpack here. And I want to make sure it lands, because this is where most men really rush and ruin everything. Josh locked into a mindset that many men never fully grasp. It's rooted in something called the Stockdale paradox. Your ability to remain fully confident in the outcome with utter certainty that you're going to get your wife back, while at the same time accepting that it may take as long as it possibly takes, okay? Your calm indifference in this mindset is gold to her. It is a superpower of sorts. It is the most attractive thing that you can give her. No pressure, but still desire. The opposite is what kills progress. I mean, low certainty and high speed, trying to force things to go fast, it's only going to backfire and leave you spinning.
The bad mindset is, I think I can go get better, and she might eventually, she's going to stay forever, right? That is the worst mindset. Where it's like, I know she's the one, but I know she could also leave me any day. And when guys hear that, they're probably thinking like, that's going to create anxiety and insecurity. It's like, no, because then it leads you to like, I'm going to show up as my best self. I'm going to appreciate her so much. And I could also leave too, but I know I'm committed to her. And that's what she needs. She needs that complete devotion that you know that she is like the center of your world in a way where it's like you're going to protect and provide for her. That's what she needs. Anytime you fall off that path, any guy does, you don't lead successfully in that manner. She feels it, and that's when she tests, right?
Yeah.
When you pair this mindset with decisive framework, that healthy masculine assertiveness, it softens her right up. And this was huge for Josh.
Once I started leading, it changed everything. And when combination of changing my energy around her and stuff, it just absolutely changed everything.
I asked him for an example of when he took the lead.
It would be simple as, what are we going to have for dinner? Like, if we were ordering dinner, in the past, it would be like, well, I don't know what I want. What do you feel like? And I wanted to make sure she was happy and stuff. And I just started like simple. Let's order from here. If the kids don't want it, we'll order from here. Like, it was just very basic kind of things, like with that, or if something needed to be done, and I'd be like, no, I'll go do it, instead of asking her if she needed help or something like that. Big thing like around the dinner stuff, where it was just like, when I told her this is what we're gonna do, she's like, okay, and she just went with it, and she's like, okay, well, I'll go pick it up then.
It doesn't have to be dramatic. It's in the small stuff, okay? Dinner plans, I'll take care of it, right? Or I'm going for a walk, why don't you join me? Those little small moments, they'll stack up and they show a larger aspect of you changing in your character. It's not these grand gestures and things you have to prove, okay? It's in the small little things that she notices or doesn't notice. There's even a study done on assertiveness and self-esteem in relationship satisfaction. What most of the studies show is that when a man leads with calm confidence, making decisions without second guessing or seeking constant approval, it actually boosts the relationship satisfaction for both partners. Women feel more secure and men feel more respected. However, this final principle is what takes her from simply respecting you again to feeling that spark of attraction all over. When Josh started leading, there was no guarantee that it would be received well. He had to prepare for rejection, and that's where a lot of men really stall out, right? One setback can kill your motivation if you're not ready for it. Josh overcame that with this next principle.
What prevents a lot of guys from doing that themselves is the risk of rejection, right?
Sure. Yeah.
How did you get over that?
That conversation when she said she wanted a divorce, like that's like the ultimate rejection right there. So it was like, it took a while to get over that, obviously. Like, I didn't know how to talk to her, how to act around her. And I think being able to just let go, like that's the biggest mindset change. And it's the hardest thing to do, is like, by letting go, like, I just felt free. And it was like, this is what I want to do.
He let go of the outcome. He stopped clinging to how things really should be. And as hard as it was, that was the breakthrough that he needed. You see, Josh was learning to build what we call resilience gradient. This is not a wall of stoic emotional armor, right? It's the ability to take small hits without really flinching or folding, right? It's the mindset of calm indifference.
That mindset change is just, it sets you free. It's unbelievable.
And here's the key. This kind of freedom doesn't come from some grand moment of clarity or one heroic act. It comes from something so much smaller.
I think when I kind of hit that rock bottom in September, I was just tired. Like, I've lost like 15 pounds in a matter of a couple, 2.5, 3 months. My job was suffering. Like, I was just kind of like, those 3 months felt like years, and I was just tired of it. And I think that was the biggest kind of shift for me. And then even before I started the program, I was just like, again, I was like, something needs to change. I need to take advantage of, living in the same house. So like, I just started small and was just kind of like, come home from something. She was doing something. I was like, hey, let's take a 5-10 minute walk. Wouldn't ask her, and at that point I was just like, well, she says no. It doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. And just took stuff very slowly with it. And it just kind of built that confidence of, that I could do that, if that makes sense.
You see, he started off small, one walk, one moment of presence, one quiet act of letting go. That's how that resilience gradient is built up, and rep after rep over time, until rejection, it no longer shakes you. This way of being attractive to your wife is immense. Your ability to sit in your center of who you are, to be unshakable, that is your strong masculine. To be unmoved by her emotional storms. That's how she trusts you again. It draws her in like a magnet because she can feel that you're no longer chasing, you are leading. And that's when attraction starts to really amplify, because that's your masculine core at all of it. Like your ability to breathe through these emotions, especially your own, not just including hers.
You know, one thing that you alluded to that was super powerful was the decision to actually take action toward yourself, right? Actually investing into the program. A lot of guys don't understand. So when it comes to like getting their wife back or getting her to fall back in love, we operate in like a doing. Like I had to do these things instead of becoming. Right. And so one thing I talk about when I was a dating coach was like attraction isn't something you do, it's something you are. Right. You can have two men saying the same lines, but one guy just knows how to embody himself differently than the other person. It's not the words, right? And so along with that idea, by you actually taking action towards yourself, you are creating this new identity of like, I take care of me. I deserve these things for myself. And that builds your self-worth. And then you start to develop this stronger identity that you are worthy, that you are valuable. And then she notices that.
And I think it goes without saying that Josh had this right support, right? He had all the support from all of the community, and he credits us to doing this. And so if you want to take the same call with our strategy team, our marriage evaluators, click the link down below to set that call. It is free, but make sure you are fully committed and maybe be our next story like Josh. Also, there's a video right here of another man that saved his marriage. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers.